I'm in Melbourne, famous for its cafe culture, laneways, and of course these beautiful markets like this one in South Melbourne, where later today I'm going to be chatting with a world famous chef and he's going to teach me how to make a stir fry. And we're also, of course, going to be checking out one of Melbourne's fantastic craft breweries. I'm Matt Stewart and this is The Beer Pioneer.
He's out there, somewhere, crossing country, north to south, east to west, following rainbows for the liquid pot of gold. The man is amber obsessed. He's conquering fears, drinking boutique beers, just for you and me. He's a man on a mission, a liquid dietitian, a bearded brewery magician. He's the beer pioneer. He is the beer pioneer. He's the beer pioneer. He's the admiral of cheer. He's the admiral of cheer. He is the amber cavalier. He's the amber cavalier. And he's the malted musketeer. He's the malted musketeer. He is the bevvy buccaneer. He's the bevvy buccaneer. Oh yes, he is the beer pioneer. Oh yes, he is.
We've been following the legendary tale of escaped convict William Buckley, and I've been retracing his steps around Port Phillip Bay, stopping in for a chat with some of Victoria's best craft beer brewers along the way. Today we find ourselves in Melbourne. Upon escaping his original settlement in Sorrento, Buckley ran for 3 days straight before he stopped for a break. Well, I've been visiting great breweries for 3 episodes straight, so we've all got something going on, Will. Melbourne wasn't established until 1835, so Buckley probably would have been greeted by a different view as he made his way around this part of the bay. Before I meet Mark Olive for an insight into some of the foods Buckley might have encountered in the area, I'm checking out Urban Alley Brewery in the heart of Melbourne's Docklands district. I'll be honest with you, the director told me to be more energetic starting this week's episode. Anyway, here's me being high energy. I'm here at Urban Alley Brewery. I'm here with the main man, Dean Grant. Hello, Dean.
Hey, how you going?
Pretty good.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, that doesn't quite work. Let's take it down a notch.
It's the only brewery in the CBD of Melbourne. It is a real, true brewery. We can do 1 million litres here a year if at full capacity.
The Melbourne Eye was the initial attraction that kicked off the Docklands area. There were, of course, some teething issues, as it initially failed to cope with a blisteringly hot Melbourne summer. I imagine early on they thought it was going to be the wheel that would bring people in, and then you'd have them in the pub, but in the end, the pub brings them in, and then the wheel gets the feed off customers, right? It's sort of flipped around. Now you're Melbourne's icon, and then it's an afterthought. They go that big wheel over there. Oh, what's that? We'll have a go at that after a few beers.
Yeah. Well, you can have beers on the wheel.
So beers on the wheel.
Beers on the wheel.
Now we're talking. You came in at 2008. The wheel cracks. You're like, oh, we made a huge blue here, but then you're still here, over a decade later. It's gone okay.
When you go into a business like this, you're investing millions of dollars. It's probably 4 million we've put into this the second time around. I actually did think we'd made a mistake, because we studied the London Eye and the Singapore Sling and all that. No, we're very successful. And when the wheel was operating for the first 2 weeks, it was really busy.
Yeah.
And then we had that 45-degree day, and that was it. And it was closed for probably, it's 5 or 6 years. Yeah, we hung in there, we kept trading, but we really needed to then revamp because, by 2018, the pub was 10 years old. Yeah, that's when I met the guys, Shire and Zev, and we decided to do a brewery.
Dean's been in the pub industry for 30 years and really changed the Melbourne scene by starting to offer a wide range of beers on tap.
We came into Melbourne in '95. We said we're going to put on 18 beers on tap. And at the time, the CEO of Foster's, Carlton United Breweries, he laughed at us and said, look, in Victoria, in Melbourne, they only drink 3 beers. They drink light ice, VB and Carlton Draft. And we said, well, we're going to do it anyway. You know, it's a bit like a winery where you go to the cellar door and you sit there and you try all different wines.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here. You come here and you try all different beers, and we do pretty much half food and half beverage, so a lot of food. You know, in the 90s food was 20% of your business. The regulations around responsible service.
Right.
You know, basically
It's a different time.
You just serve them, and when they threw up or they fell over, you threw them out.
You just chuck some sawdust on it.
That's right.
And kick them out to the...
But probably in about 2005, I think it started changing, and probably for the better, to be honest.
Before I meet Shire, let's head over to the South Melbourne market to meet world-renowned chef Mark Olive. Mark, what a pleasure to be down here at the South Melbourne market. When I'm cooking, I normally do it in a more private sort of locale, but it's nice for the people to finally get to see what I can do. What are we doing today? You're going to teach me how to do something cool?
Yeah, something different, something with Indigenous herbs and spices and stuff you'll find around Melbourne here, but also around the country. So again, people know that I cook a lot of stuff with these Indigenous fruits, nuts, proteins. But today we're going to do a kangaroo stir fry, something really easy, very basic, to give people an idea of some of the flavours we'll be using here.
Great. Basic sounds right up my alley.
This is the best part of the kangaroo.
Yep.
This is the tail fillet. So when you're looking at that, it sits above the tail, so it's just this section here.
Yeah.
Just on the back there. That's the nice leanest part. Just some veggies, basic veggies here to go with it. Lots of colour, lots of vibrancy. But I'm going to also put through some warrigal greens. Now the warrigal greens are very different, very unique. You'll find them a lot down here in Victoria, but also up around New South Wales, up along the coastal regions there. And all the convicts, they're all scurvied up, getting sick. They found this stuff, full of vitamin C, great folate, and but it's a toxin as well. It's got a toxin through it.
Right.
Best way to get rid of this toxin is just to boil it in a bit of water, or you just fry it out. So sustainable stuff, really, really meaty as well. Munch on a bit of that.
This one you've just told me is toxic.
Yeah.
Okay.
You won't die.
Okay.
But you need to eat about 1 kilo before you get diarrhea or something like that. So,
Right.
you know.
Well, I'll have a go.
And it's a nice, just a little filler. And also what I'm going to put through is some of this lemon myrtle, again from the Northern Rivers. You'll find a lot of this in New South Wales. It originated up around, the Byron Bay area, Lismore, Northern Rivers of New South Wales. Now, get that, put that through your hands, have a go at it. And
Is this getting more popular with cooking and stuff?
it's huge. You'll find a lot of it around the markets here.
Oh, wow.
But this grows everywhere. It's a great plant. It's just like lemons. But the good thing about this, it's not as harsh as lemon.
It
and
smells
nice soft.
like lemon and honey or something almost. Yeah.
It's got a nice scent
Yum.
to it. So we'll be putting a bit of that through there too. But look, got to get you to work. So what we're going to do is prep some of these veggies. Got a peeler here for you.
Okay.
So you can do the carrots. You can start on that. I'm going to start on the capsicum. How's your peeling going? You're a bit slow, aren't you?
Yes, I mean in so many ways. Yes. You've been cooking for decades. When did you get into it?
78.
78.
That's when I started my
A good
apprenticeship.
year. Bloody hell.
So I've been doing this a long time. I love it. It's been a passion for mine. But once I did my apprenticeship, and I was the first Indigenous person on the Illawarra coast where I grew up to actually come out with a degree in food.
Right.
When you're thinking about the early 80s, late 70s, it was still way back, backwards in a lot of ways. And not only that, along the way I've been able to teach other Indigenous kids, get them into the industry, show them what it's all about.
This is harder than it should be. How have I done? Is that acceptable?
No, you're pretty bad. Clean up. So it's easier just to do it that way.
Yeah, that makes... All right, I was actually thinking the peeler was broken, but
The peeler?
you're sort of proven that to be incorrect.
Try that and just like...
I mean, you're... Yeah, all right.
And you just go backwards like that. Try that.
You make... That
In the dish.
You're like, just do it like you've had 40 years of experience. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. All right.
Okay,
Whoa.
so the carrot, I'm just going to julienne these.
Oh, yeah. I was going to suggest a julienne.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is just like a sideways chop.
Yeah, really.
Which is also one of my favourite dance moves.
How does that go?
I mean, I've made it up, but if I was going to commit to the bit, I guess something like this. but I wouldn't commit to that.
When I started finding out about, the foods and spices and stuff, which I already knew about because we used to go back to Cabbage Tree Island, where my mother come from, which was a mission.
Yep.
And my father grew up on a riverbed, so we ended up going back to the town there, seeing cousins and everybody, and it was always an adventure to try a lot of this stuff.
Is that where your passion for food started, with your aunties?
Oh yeah, definitely. And watching my godmother, she was a really good cook. And Mum used to do a lot of desserts. She wasn't very good on the meat. You could walk to Darwin on a steak. But, watching that really sparked me interest, and hence why I started cooking. And I'm 9 years old, I was playing rugby.
Because your old man was a pro.
He was the first Indigenous player to play NRL in Australia. So he played for Newtown. The Jets, but that's how we ended up in Wollongong, off the mission.
Right.
So we ended up in Wollongong, and he became a really good footballer.
Amazing.
So that's how we ended up there.
Back at Urban Alley, and it's time to meet the head brewer, Shire. This part's always fun, to see me try and pretend like I know what I'm talking about. So, Shire, you're the head brewer here.
That's right.
And this is where all the action happens. It's quite a compact sort of brewery, really.
Yeah, kind of like Tetris.
Yeah. Is that how it worked out? Were you around when it all got sort of settled in here?
I guess you could say I'm guilty.
When Shire was hired as head brewer, he quickly got to work designing the brewery. Quite a challenge in such a small space.
I really am proud. We are all really proud of how we were able to get this size brewery into this size of a space. We put in here a 20-barrel brewery, or it's about a 20.
As soon as these numbers get thrown around, I think my brain actually leaves my body. It's quite incredible if you watch for it.
Will come out of the brew house at one time. Sometimes we can be super efficient and get about 2,700 liters out. And one batch will fill one of these two fermenters, which is about 2,500 liters plus cement.
Yep, still following, not drifting off at all.
Or we can brew twice to knock out into one of these boys. We have 6 of these, and they're about 5,000 liters plus headspace each.
Let's ramp it up.
Normal stubby is about 330 mil, so 3 of those, about a liter, right? So we fill 50-liter kegs and 375 ml cans. So a case of 24 cans is about just over 9 liters.
Yes.
Okay, so you're looking at, say, every 1,000 liters will get you about 100 cases of beer.
All right, I think he's on to me. Time to say something smart.
Yeah.
That's a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
What's this box behind you?
That's my attention span for you.
This is actually a really cool addition, something that we're very excited about. There's a company in the US called Precision Fermentation, and this is their flagship product called the Brew Monitor. It's a sensor hub that essentially continuously monitors the fermentation progress of the beer during the fermentation cycle. Then we stop the monitoring. We're the first brewery in Australia to use it.
If you haven't figured it out yet, this series is really about my journey of discovery about why I'm better at drinking beer rather than making it.
When I came here in January 2014 with an engineering degree, struggling to find a job and started to homebrew, I got bitten by the bug. And after the second batch of homebrew, I knew I was hooked.
This is the kind of job it'd never leave your mind.
Yeah,
if you think
never.
about it, you literally dream about the
Absolutely,
brewery. Yeah.
absolutely. I've got reminders set constantly in my phone. Doesn't matter if I'm on holiday, doesn't matter where I am. Check the head pressure and temperature of every tank.
Yeah.
Or things like that. Check the carbonation of that tank.
They're not too dissimilar from the reminders in my phone.
To see where it's got to today. In our first year, we won 14 medals that were internationally recognized medals at the Australia International Beer Awards, which is one of the largest beer awards in the world every year.
Yeah.
So, just to see where we've come to is just fantastic.
There is so much technical wizardry going on here. We don't have time, but you can always book yourself a brewery tour and learn from the master himself. As for me, I'm here to do what I do best.
So what do you got going on in this one?
I believe in this tank is one of the beers that we released during COVID, which is the Mangoes Nowhere, or Mangoes Nowhere, because there's an isolation, right? It's a mango and passion fruit sour beer.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's not very sour, but just enough to give it that sort of a delicate pucker.
Oh yeah, love a delicate pucker.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Don't leave me hanging.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's so good. The passion fruit, I love
Yeah.
passion fruit so much. And how long from you having the brainwave to drinking it over here?
Literally the day before brewing.
Right. This is so good.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it.
Delicious. Tastes like summer. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh man, it's so good. Time to check back in on my amazing culinary skills.
So we're going to put through here as well some beans, just to give it a bit of texture, a bit of colour.
Yep.
Not only that, a bit of fibre as well. Basically, a
Oh, you want me to
cross-cut-
julienne them?
Well, not julienne
Damn
them,
it.
just give
I thought I
Just
had
cut them.
something.
a good
How's
that
that?
size. Perfect.
Somehow there's 6 pieces there, not 2 of them the same.
Yeah, well,
How have I done that?
Indigenous food is really complex in flavour, all sorts of stuff, you know. Same with the proteins. You can't eat koalas, you can't eat, things like that because they're toxic.
Ah, koalas are toxic.
Yeah. Got just a little bit of garlic we're going to put with it as well.
You know, you can just put some garlic on the stove and people in the house will be like, oh, that smells good. Like, yeah, everything else is burnt, but there's some garlic on the stove.
So, look, I'll show you a brunoise. A brunoise is a small cube,
Okay.
like that.
A brunoise.
A brunoise.
So like,
Yep. Perfect.
Oh.
Bit thicker.
thicker than that?
Yeah. Yep.
Everyone different from the last.
So now, best way to hold a knife is like that. You got to get that V with your finger, just
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. You don't clutch
Don't
it, so
clutch
you're
it.
sort of like, it's just nice and easy.
Yeah.
Now just start doing that. This should never leave the board,
Okay.
so you're pushing forward all the time, and it comes from the shoulder.
Yep.
Using the arm, because then you won't have all of that problem there.
Right.
Now with this side, it's always good to hold them like that. Now put your hands like that. Okay, so you've got that.
I want to chop a finger off, aren't
Now you've got to have your flange down like that.
Get my
You've got
flange down?
You got your flange down. So what you've got to do is rub your flange
I? Yes.
on that part of the knife.
Okay.
And it should never come up higher
Guessing
than
that's
that.
my flange is that bit.
That bit there, right there.
That's my flange.
That's your flange.
Bloody hell.
So what you're doing is you're pushing forward. Don't bring it up any higher. You don't do that. It's
Yeah.
just that should never leave.
Right.
Okay. So just like that. Turn that flange is out the front. The
Yep.
3 fingers are behind the back.
Oh.
The thumb is on the
Yes.
back here too. So you're doing that. What you're doing now is just the 3 fingers at the back are holding that, guiding those through.
Oh.
And the thumb is anchoring all of that. So you're anchoring all of that.
Yeah.
So it's just basically shimmy back with your fingers, and then you've got a nice brunoise, which is a nice dice.
Right. I'm not. I
You've
don't
got
like
the
you're
idea,
doing
you've got the
3 things
idea.
at once. I don't understand how you're able to do that. Probably 43 years of experience helps.
Oh, well, it's coordination.
Okay. Oh, all right. All right. Harsh but fair.
I'm going to show you the roux, and you're going to actually chop some too.
Okay.
You know, we're the only country in the world that eats our coat of arms.
We find funny things to take pride in, don't we?
See that fillet, that tail fillet, really nice. Look how lean it is. So we're just going to clean it just a little bit. Take that sinew off. What we've got here is that lovely tail. Now you can see the meat, you can see the grain
Yep.
going that way. What you've got to do is cut across that.
Okay.
So what we're doing is,
Man, you made this look easier than.
so it's pushing it forward and pushing that blade forward. That just goes right through it. Lovely, lovely bit of protein. What I've got here is a mixture of herbs and spices. This is bush tomato.
Oh, this
So
is
what
bush tomato.
What I'm going to get you to do is just break that down for me.
So this is like dried up bush tomato.
This is dried bush tomato. When you've got the actual bush tomato and it's on a shrub,
Yep.
it's yellow. It's got this lovely, lovely yellow colour. They take it off and then it dries out and it looks like a little raisin.
Okay.
So once you get that raisin, you grind that down in a mortar and pestle. This is what you get, this lovely coloured
Yeah.
herb. Now taste that. Take a pinch of that. It starts off bitter. Gets sweeter.
Yeah.
But it's got this lovely tomato flavour to it. And it's an earthy tomato, that fruit flavour.
That's a big flavour.
Yeah, but I've made a mix here. I've got some chili flakes in here. We've got the salt bush, we've got the pepper leaf, we've got some ground lemon myrtle already done up.
Yep.
Through that as well. We've got the pepper leaf, we've got the sea parsley as well.
Oh, there's
sea
a lot going on in
There's
here.
a lot going on in there, but you do the marination.
All right.
I'll do the chopping. Cutting across the grain here.
Playing to our strong suits here. I can sprinkle with the best of them. Back in Docklands, time to taste some of Shire's creations.
This is the first one. It's called our Urban Ale.
Yep.
And it's essentially the beer that was tested in the market first. Just a clean and crisp blonde ale or summer ale. Not very hop forward, not very malt or yeast forward either. And just a everyday, easy drinking, kind of like a lawnmower beer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Yeah, it's like shower beer. The first time I heard about shower beer, I said, oh my God, of course.
Were you in Australia the first time you heard that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once your palate's warmed up, the Aussie Slapshot Pale is next.
It's got a real hop forward presence.
And I'm guessing the name Slapshot, something to do with the ice hockey team across the road?
That's it, you got it, exactly.
Oh, that hop
Cheers.
smell. That's heaven, man.
Sort of a mango and stone fruit and even like a mild peach presence is happening there.
I was
but
getting
it's-
a little mild peach. Yeah. All right, I'm warmed up.
So this was called the Long Beach Dreamsicle, sort of a international collaboration that has now become a beer that we're doing regularly. It is a hazy or New England style IPA that has been fermented with Kveik, Norwegian yeast, at 40 Celsius, and it can be in and out of tank in less than 10 days.
I feel like I've never heard of Kvike before.
Yeah, well, here in Australia, you don't have a lot of breweries that are using it. We've been experimenting with a lot of different ways to use this yeast, and Kveik yeast need to ferment at 40 Celsius, otherwise they don't do their job.
And because of that extra complexity in the brewing, I imagine some people just either don't bother or it's maybe
Yeah.
too hard.
It's still pretty clean though, you know, it's
So much going on at the same time.
Yeah,
It feels like
it's-
there's three different
Yeah.
sections of flavour that moves through as you go.
Yeah, it's really, really fruity. It's bitter, but it's a soft bitterness.
I've
And-
never tasted anything like this before.
Yeah, in a good way, right?
In a good way.
Yeah.
It's a journey. It's fun. It's a flavour journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, don't worry, we're just getting started.
Wish it wasn't Monday morning. Next, a good old-fashioned Pilsner.
This is what we call the flight delay. You can see it's pretty clear. And I should tell you that we don't filter anything here. We don't filter or pasteurize any of our beers. And it still comes out brilliantly clear if we need it to. This is a classic Bohemian style or a Czech style Pilsner.
It's got a
which
real
is-
classic taste, yeah.
Thank you, yeah. It's when people say, I just want like a beer, classic beer, no frills, nothing crazy, slightly bitter, floral, hop forward, European style pale lager. This is it, yeah. Melbourne's water is very similar in the chemistry profile to Pilsen.
Ah, right.
Yes, so pale, soft lagers is one of the easiest beer styles to make with minor alterations to the water chemistry.
Right, gotcha.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Melbourne water, you delicious bastard. You've done it again. Yeah, this is nice. I haven't had a Pilsner that tastes like that classic style in a while. Is
I
it
think
because
we're
it is
close.
subtle? It's a harder style?
You've nailed it on the head, exactly.
To me, that tastes exactly like
Oh, thank you.
what I
yeah.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, cheers.
Feels like you got to cheers these ones.
Yeah, so this is our American style barley wine.
Okay.
Very hop forward, malt forward, and boozy, big beer.
It's hop forward and malt forward.
Yeah,
and
but the yeast
boozy.
is clean. We then age it in bourbon barrels, Woodford Reserve or Jack
I
Daniels,
think
or
I
a
can
mix of both.
Smell the bourbon. The
Smells-
sweetness.
Yeah. The character that you get from the barrel aging is a lot of vanilla, toasted coconut, the clean, classic American ale yeast.
Oh, that is delicious. The
And-
vanilla is really there.
There's no vanilla added, right? That's just coming from the
Right.
bourbon.
Like, How good is my job today?
This beer just won a silver medal at the Australian Indie Craft Beer Awards, the Independent Craft Beer Awards. And
Silver medal.
yeah.
Well, to be honest, I'd say ripped off. It's got gold written all over it.
Oh, thank you.
I reckon if we did an unedited version of our stay, it'll be a feature film length. But I really did appreciate you showing us around. It's been a great time, and I can't wait
thanks
to
for being here.
come back down here after the Saints win a game next season.
Oh, the Saints.
Kind of Saints.
Nah, not me.
Or the Ravens.
There you go. My
Cheers
pleasure.
to you.
Cheers.
Back at South Melbourne Market, the veggies are prepped and it's time to fry.
What we'll do is fry them off first. So the onions are going to flavour that pan.
Yep. Oh, look at that.
Okay, you can smell the flavours of that coming out there
Oh,
now.
yeah, hello.
Just out of those.
We need smell-o-vision.
We do need.
They're really missing
smell-o-vision.
out at home. That looks all. That could be it. I mean, look at those colours. We're having some issues with the stove, but this just shows how good Mark Olive is. He can cook even if the stove sucks. So you're saying in an ideal world, the stovetop would remain on while you're cooking?
Yeah.
Okay.
would.
I'm learning a lot today. Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is cook the meat, then we'll mix everything up.
Come on, flame.
Now,
Oh, wow, so it cooks quickly though.
that does cook quickly, and you don't want to overcook kangaroo either,
Right.
because if you overcook it, it goes really rubbery and it's hard. You can walk on it basically.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. Stay. Okay, so we've got the garlic,
Oh, yeah. So the last few bits to go in.
and we got put the kangaroo back in.
Yep. Oh man, that's. Now we want the smell-o-vision now. That smells
It
delicious.
smells unbelievable,
Oh,
doesn't
so good.
it? Okay, so with that, onion. You can see that mixing through that. Anyway, there shouldn't be any moisture in there, but there is. That's okay. So with that, we're adding colour now.
Yep.
So that. You have a go at it?
Is there any technique with the throw in here?
No, not really.
Sort of a. I'm going with the sort of the
You're going with
rolling
the
of the
flow.
wrist.
As you do. Look at all that colour. Again, we put these right in at the very end.
The mushrooms right at the end. You just want to keep
Just a little
them.
bit of heat.
Yep.
Now the warrigal green, like I said, it's very easy to chop up. Just give it a little bit of colour, texture. And basically, this is our stir fry. Like I said, this should be super hot.
Yep.
This into here. And we'll do another one here. Look at the colours and the flavour in that. Put the relish over that so you can use it yourself.
Yep.
Stir that through.
All right. Let's eat.
All right, Matty, this is it. The kangaroo stir fry. This is with the bush tomato relish.
Yep.
This is with the pepperberry. What we do now is we just mix all of that sauce through the flavour.
I basically made this.
You made it.
Yeah. Thanks so much for helping me make this dish.
Something you can go home and cook for your girlfriend.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll be something different that she's never tried.
I reckon she'll be very keen. Oh yeah, that's
It's
yum.
nice, isn't it?
Oh, it's been great hanging out. Thanks so much for teaching me all these things. Can't wait to take some of these terms home with me.
You'll be an expert.
Yeah, I want to impress some people soon. It's been a real pleasure. Cheers, Mark.
Cheers.
Cheers. What a beautiful day. I can't help but feel that old William Buckley, he missed a bit of a trick by not stopping for a little feed here at Urban Alley Brewery on the way around the bay. Honestly, missed a real opportunity here, and I'm glad I didn't make the same mistake. Anyway, cheers to you.